Shalom. Giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. And I wanted to do a response to a portion of this video, which brothers was laughing, a few days ago when it was loaded, because now you see these anti-messiahs, these pagan Christians, all right, who celebrate pagan holy days, all right, and support the Zionist, state of Israel and its war tactics and war path that it's on, saying that they have the right to defend themselves. Meanwhile, persecuting the Hebrew Israelites as monsters, as we just stand on the highways and the byways, and preach the word. All right. But this failed religion has not brought out the truth of the Bible. But now that the Israelites have stood up in the latter days, you're starting to see more and more of these anti-messiahs who call themselves Christians, popping up, getting into the Bible, saying the Israelites this, the Israelites that. And now they're even trying to go into biblical prophecy, which is something we know the Christian church was never about. Okay. But again, they're watching these videos and they're being emboldened to try to go into it as well, because those are the videos people really, watch, prophetic videos, because people are trying to figure out what the hell is going on and what's next. All right. And as I'm listening to this video, as a matter of fact, let's just listen to it and then we'll go into a few points that he's off on. But this is his breakdown of Daniel, the 7th chapter.
In Psalm 75:5, compare those and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this stems apparently from an image of a powerful animal lifting up its head, right? You picture like the rhino, So in some ways, there's this climax of the vision when the little horn sees and speaks like a human. Now understand, up to this point, everything's described as a beast. And even though...
Now, when you go to Daniel 7, all right, Daniel, the 7th chapter, all right, the little horn he's speaking of is the revival of Rome, all right, because when you get Daniel 7, all right, in 7 it says, and after this I saw in the night visions, behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue of the feet, all right, with it, the Roman military, they conquered. And it was diverse from all of the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. It was diverse from all of the beasts because the way they brought, their rulers or emperors in was through a senate, all right, whereas, prior kingdoms, the throne will go from the father to the son, all right, but things started to change, at the Greek Empire, and then eventually the Roman Empire came, and we always break down the 10 horns. Those were the 10, all right, vassals to the Roman Empire, all right, the Visigoths, the Vandals, Sueves, the Alamanis, all right, and so forth. Today, those nations, are known as the EU, but these are vassal states that were subordinate to the Roman Empire, all right, but ultimately they made it a beast system because, all right, you didn't have to be in Rome, all right, to feel the wrath of Rome, because they, ultimately had these vassals. All right. And then it says, and I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, all right, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. Now, what you're going to find out is that this is the revival of Rome, which is fulfilled in America, Babylon the Great. All right, and as you read the next verse, it goes into what? I beheld till the thrones were cast down, because through this kingdom, all right, the revival of Rome, before this little horn who has the eyes of a man, all right, going into his science, him, boasting to be God. Look what he's saying with his technology. He's going to outdo the Most High. He's outdoing them with food. He's creating artificial intelligence. To hell with the intelligence that the Most High made. And a mouth speaking great things, the NWO, all right, the micro C-hip, the ability to heal, and make people that are blind to see, the people who are lame to walk, All right, his miracles, which in Daniel, the 7th chapter, all right, you would link it with Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right, which it further goes into this beast, all right. Revelation 13 and 11, you would link that because this is that little horn, okay, which is America, Babylon the Great, which is the revival of Rome, all right. Now, it started at the Renaissance in the 1400s, which was the re-establishment or rebirth. Renaissance means rebirth of Rome. The Western Roman Empire, all right, you know, starting at Italy, was brought back into the earth through a Renaissance. Okay, you look up the word. And then ultimately from there, you had the Spanish, the French, the British, and then you have the 13 colonies that led to the 50 United States, which this brought about the Roman Empire. And we also have the state of Israel that was established by the British, okay, and the UN fixed it up, and you have the Balfour Declaration. This is all an extension, all right, of that beast system, okay? And the Heavenly Father's going to send his only begotten Son back as they rule, because this particular system will bring about the chip. He would deceive those by his miracles. He would have, you know, might and power, you know, to do things on the planet Earth, his military, all right? But through this system, the mark of the beast would be issued, and that marks the end of his rule, you see? So when you get Daniel, the 7th chapter, okay, you have to link Revelation, the 13th chapter, because it further expounds on this little horn. Now, here in Daniel, the 7th chapter, all right, in the 8th verse, this little horn is also expounded on as you go down, all right, to verse 25, okay? The rulers of this little horn, okay, as a matter of fact, see, as you keep going, it says, he will defy the Most High, verse 25, and oppress the holy people of the Most High, which are the Israelites, and he will try to change their sacred festivals and laws, and they will be put under his place of his control, all right, for a time, a times, and a half of time. That's the 350-year period. But then judgment will pass, and I will take away his dominion and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness under the kingdom of heaven shall be given unto the people of the saints of the Most High. So this has not happened yet. Now let's listen to him as he interprets it.
Fourth beast is not called a leopard or a bear or a lion or specifically anything like that. It's still described as a beast, yet one of the horns is human-like. This indicates something different with this. Don't you see how it indicates something very different? Now, we're going to talk about that, but I'm going to read you the verses that relate.
And it's very important to understand that when you read Daniel, the 7th chapter, these are the empires where you can follow the scattering of the Israelites. All right, he acknowledged, you know, that the third beast was the Greeks. You know, he acknowledged the first beast as the Assyrian, Babylonian. He acknowledged the second beast as the Medo-Persian. He acknowledged the Greeks as the third, and he acknowledged Rome as the fourth, okay? Now, my question to him is, in the Bible, we can find the history of the Israelites as they were scattered in all of these captivities. Since you deny the Apocrypha, where do we get the history of the children of Israel as they're in that third beast, the Roman Empire? Okay? But anyway, these are the captivities the Israelites will be scattered in, major captivities, although we know they're scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. These are the major powers that would be in power, you know, up until the Heavenly Father set a judgment, all right, and sent his only begotten Son back, okay? So when you read these beasts, all right, the final one before the Lord makes his decision and sends his Son is the little horn, which when we get into it, that's the revival of Rome. We're living in that beast right now, okay?
To this that are on the screen, so you can kind of keep track here, okay? Daniel 7, verse 7 says this. I'm rereading this. After this, I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, fearsome and terrifying and extraordinarily strong, and it had large iron teeth. It devoured and crushed and trampled down the remainder with its feet, and it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. If these are describing succeeding empires, and the evidence indicates that they are, if you have Babylon first, and then if you have Medo-Persian next, and then you have Greek next.
It was the Assyrian Babylonian Empire first, then the Medo-Persian, then the Greeks, then Rome being the fourth. The little horn represents the revival of Rome, which is the kingdom we're in now. Okay? Babylon the Great.
What's after the Greeks? Rome. That would be the fourth beast, and that would be the fourth kingdom. And I think we get some help by seeing the stone coming during the days of Rome in Daniel 2. That's why it was important to look at Daniel 2 prior, because this shows you Jesus is born under the Roman Empire. Now,
let's go to that, because that's wrong. All right, when you get Daniel, the second chapter, the stone, all right, when you go to Daniel, the second chapter, that's the vision when Daniel interprets the dream, right? But when you get down to verse 40, as you get to the feet in the statue, right? This is Daniel chapter 2 and 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much iron breaketh in pieces. We know Esau, Edom was blessed with the sword. Okay, the Romans were trained with that sword. Now that sword went nuclear. Okay, and breaketh in pieces and subdue all things. The Romans conquered. Or the Western Roman Empire was, ran by Edomites. And as iron breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. All right. And then it says in verse 41, whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes of the potter's clay, part iron, all right, and part clay. See, this is where we are now. Okay, where you have this beast system, all right, splitting up, partly strong, partly broken. They don't agree. This is what's happening right now. See? And we always break this down, so let me just get through it. But shall be in it, all right? It says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part potter's clay and part iron, the kingdom shall be divided. And we see Esau, Edom divided. We see the EU and NATO countries fed up with Babylon the Great. Okay? We see the EU nations, as they have supported Babylon the Great in the state of Israel and all of their atrocities, admitting, all right, pissed off at America and how they're moving. We see that they're partly strong and they're partly broken. They agree on certain things, but all right, economically they don't agree. Okay, they're divided in many ways, this beast system that we're living in. Okay, it says, and as thou saw, and as the toes of the feet were part iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. See, this is not talking about the Western Roman Empire. See, the Lord was born in that fourth beast. As a matter of fact, when you get Revelation, the 12th chapter, it expounds on that. The Lord wasn't born in the part where the toes, that's the end of the vision. Okay? This is the book, because this is how the statue looks as they write it down. Okay? You had the head of gold. Let's see if we can just pull this up. You had the head of gold. Okay? Damn it, boy. All right, let's just put kind of. You had the head of gold, which is the Assyrian Babylonian Empire. The chest of silver, you had the Medes, and then the Persians, the second beast. Then you had the third beast, all right, bronze, the Greeks. Then you have the iron, all right, the legs of iron, which is Rome. The feet, all right, of iron and clay, as they say here, is modern Europe, which is ultimately the system we live in today, headed by Babylon the Great, as the whore would ride that beast. And that marks the return of the Messiah, not his birth as a man. All right, going to Revelation, the 2nd chapter. All right, when you read Revelation chapter 12 and 1, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, and a woman clothed with the sun and moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. That represents the nation of Israel. And being with child, she cried and travailed in birth and pain to be delivered. And the Jews at that time, all right, were in agony. They were looking for a kingdom. All right. But this was the time that the Messiah was born, during the Roman Empire. And as you can see here, okay, verse 3, in the red dragon, and there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. See, this is the Roman Empire. Okay, and his tail drew down the third of the stars of heaven, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, who were in captivity, vassals to the Roman Empire as well, right? He drew his tail. His tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. As remember, the northern kingdom they left at the time of the Assyrian Empire. So the captivities going forward will primarily be Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, who will be known as Jews. All right, this great red dragon represents Esau, Edom, and the Roman Empire, which gave this beast system its authority. As you read, all right, Revelation, the 13th chapter, in the 2nd verse, and the beast I saw was like unto a leopard. See, the Greeks. This beast system started with the Greeks, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, representing Russia, all right, leading the pack to take down, all right, Babylon the Great, and to break things up here in these times. And the mouth of it is the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, all right, and his seat and great authority. So the dragon represents Rome. That's what's given this beast system its authority and power. And when they fell, the Western Roman Empire fell, all right, the Renaissance brought about what? All right, the authority of that Western Roman Empire. That dominance was rebuilt, reborn into the earth. So when you read Revelation 12, this great red dragon, which is what gave this beast system its authority, all right, had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi in captivity. Okay? And his tail drew down the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. See, this is Herod the Great under the Roman authority, which Herod was an Edomite. The Romans were Edomites, right? But under the Roman authority, okay, the Herodian dynasty was given jurisdiction and power, all right, over what's known as Judea or Jerusalem in that time. And when the Messiah was being born, you can read that history in the book of Matthew, the 2nd chapter, okay, he wanted to put him to death. Matthew 2 and 3, when Herod the king heard these things, he was troubled, and ultimately he wanted to put the Messiah to death. So the Messiah was born during the 4th beast, okay? But he wasn't able to put him to death, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron, all right, and eventually he was sacrificed, all right, death, burial, resurrection, and called back up to the Most High. So when you get, let's go back to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, the Messiah was born, all right, in the kingdom associated with verse 40, okay, but when you read verse 41, as the vision shows you, okay, the feet of iron clay ain't Rome. It's the revival of Rome. See? And that's what this beast system is all about. All you have to do is look up the ancient Western Roman Empire territory and then look up the EU territory. Okay? It's the same thing. Okay? This beast system that we're living in today. Okay? Verse 41, whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part potter's clay and part iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but it shall be in it the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay. And the toes of the feet were part iron and part clay. The kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And what did the Lord say about a kingdom divided? It shall fall. And these Edomites are divided on all fronts. Okay? Whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Esau, Edom, going amongst these nations, making deals, doing wickedness, okay, setting up pacts, and the confederacy was made, right? But they shall not cleave one to another. They're not agreeing here in these latter days, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So these Edomite European nations don't agree. They're fed up with the West. All right, the West is making all of these demands that they need to put all of their money into the pot, because pursuant to Revelation, real quick, what's that? 17th chapter, the 10 horns, Revelation 17 and 16, and 10 horns, which today is the EU, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree to give their kingdom into the beast, and to the words of the Most High be fulfilled. So these EU nations, okay, pretty much have worked for the interest of supporting and forwarding Babylon's atrocities. Okay, what they did in Iraq, what they did in Afghanistan, what Israel is currently doing over there, to those Palestinians, what America has done, waging war. The EU and NATO have ultimately aided them, but we're living in a time where now those agreements, that confederacy is being broken up, which the book of Obadiah goes into that. You see, but when you read the point here, when you read, okay, verse 44, it says, in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and shall consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Okay, and for as much as where thou sawest the stone that was cut off the mountain without hands, it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. All right, the great God have made known to the king which shall come to pass after. So he's saying that this stone, which represents Yahweh Shai, that great millstone, right, as it is described in the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter, is Yahweh Shai being born into the Roman Empire. Revelation 18 and 21, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying thus with violence, so Babylon the great be thrown down, that great city shall be found no more. And this is when the Lord is going to put down all rule and authority. Okay? As it is written in the book of 1 Corinthians 15. Okay? 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. Okay? Let's see here. In 24, then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom of God, even the Father, when he shall have put out all rule and all authority and all power. For me, he must reign, okay? He must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is made manifest that he is expected, which did put all things under him. All right? And when all things are subject unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that God may be all in all. So there you go. That's what Daniel, the 2nd chapter, 44 through 45 is talking about. And in these days, all right, in the days of these kings, these beasts, all right, having their time, it ends with the revival of the fourth beast, okay? In the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest the stone, okay, cut out of the mountain without hands, and that's that chariot, all right, that crushed all of these, the whole statue was crushed into pieces. The Gentiles have no more reign or rule once the Messiah returns. But let's listen to him again in his interpretation of that stone.
You're reading this. After this, I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, fearsome and terrifying and extraordinarily strong, and it had large iron teeth. It devoured and crushed and trampled down the remainder with its feet, and it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. If these are describing succeeding empires, and the evidence indicates that they are, if you have Babylon first, and then if you have Medo-Persian next, and then you have Greek next, what's...
The 10 horns ain't succeeding empires. Those are ultimately empires that had their own thing going, but they were subordinate to the Roman Empire. These were territories that went outside of Rome itself, but ultimately, okay, they made themselves subject to the Roman power. That's a vassal or a subordinate state. Okay, that's the 10 horns. Just like today, you have America, but you have also the EU, and all of those countries are subordinate, all right, and vassals to the American Empire, the modern day Rome. Okay, just like Rome had a beast system, America has a beast system. It's fulfilled in the EU and NATO as well. Go ahead.
After the Greeks, Rome. That would be the fourth beast, and that would be the fourth kingdom. And I think we get some help by seeing the stone coming during the days of Rome in Daniel 2. That's why it was important to look at Daniel 2 prior, because this shows you Jesus is born under the Roman Empire. Now, what about the 10 horns?
So he's saying that this stone that we read about in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, in the 44th and 45th verse, is talking about the birth of the Messiah, okay, into the Roman Empire. That's Rome. Okay, because really that points to now where Yahushua is going to return. Okay, and he's going to return to an empire that's ran by Edomites. Okay,
this is where the debate comes in. Now, notice it's sort of a minor part of it, but lots and lots of debate. Some people try to make this certain Roman emperors. They'll try to say, oh, these are these different Roman emperors. I don't think that works. People have interesting ways that they try to make it work. This is the part where I say I'm still figuring that out and thinking about it. What it seems to be to me is, though,
we at the end, man. You should know.
Simply a representation, a way to say, and there's going to be a bunch of other kingdoms and kings after this fourth beast. And out of one of those is going to come the Antichrist. Now, it does not use the term Antichrist. I've already seen people in the live chat that don't believe the little horn is the Antichrist. I will not even argue with you at great length, because remember, the main point of this is not about the Antichrist. It's about the Son of Man. We're going to get to that in just a second.
The little horn is the revival of Rome. Okay? See, again, Revelation 17 and 16 tells you the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and make her desolate, all right, which they're going to turn on America. For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree to give their kingdom unto the beast. So these 10 horns will reign with the beast. Okay? It's not succeeding empires that are going to rule after Rome. No. All right? They ultimately were ruling at the time of Rome, and just like the EU is ruling now here with America. They agreed to give their kingdom into the beast system for the purpose of aiding the whore until the words of God be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which is Babylon, that reigneth over the kings of the earth. All right? We'll be back with more, man. This guy's through. You pagan anti-messiahs got to stop, man. Let's put the Bible down, man. Y'all are making a fool of yourselves. Stick to John 3:16. God love everybody. We don't have to, keep the laws. That's, that's, Jew nor Greek, which that ain't really working for y'all no more. So now y'all trying to go into prophecy, but y'all ain't got it, man. And we'll be back with more prophetic breakdowns of these scriptures, man, because this is what we do. All right. It was rushed, but hopefully y'all are edified. Shalom.